Hey kiddos, King Garage, writing time. Now, we started looking at story mountains last week and we're going to take that a step further. Each time we do a lesson, we're going to plan a little bit to give you ideas, and then once you've got the ideas of how the whole format of the story mountain works, then we're going to just dive straight in and do some writing. And you're just going to be writing story after story after story after story. But we want to front load your brain with all the information you can kind of use. And what we're going to work on today is something called the setting. Okay? The setting is where the story takes place. That's it. The setting is where the story takes place. What's the setting? Now, how are we going to do that? It's really simple. It's really, really simple. And you're going to spend probably about 15 to 20 minutes today, maybe even half an hour thinking about this. Now, last time we worked through some problems. This time we are going to, and you can see that I'm keeping my sheets all together. Okay, this time we're going to be working on the setting. Now, possible settings. Now, the setting, where it takes place, it could be something really ordinary. It could be something like, let's say, the beach. It could be a trail. Let's say I was going on a trail. It could be the woods. Or a forest. It could be, and we've talked about this before, maybe you're writing a science fiction story. And maybe, I don't know, a different planet. Maybe it's outer space. Maybe it's inside a car. So all of these are different settings, examples of where it could take place. Now, you can see that took me, about a minute to think of those. So what I want you to do today is spend about 5 to 10 minutes thinking about some different settings of where stories that you might like to write might take place. Now, can you add to these? Yes! Can you think? If you get stuck and go, I can't think of any, then you can do this. Go down and write books. And are there any settings that you can think of in some books that you have read? The answer to that is yes, because a story always takes place somewhere. It could be when you're writing that setting changes from one place to another. Maybe you're not going to have probably more than 3 settings, really, in your story. Now, what I'd like you then to do is, once you've got some ideas, and I'm going to do the beach. That was the first one I came out with, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to close my eyes, and you can't see me, but I am actually closing my eyes right now. And I'm imagining that I am at the beach. And I'm going to think about some things that I can see. I'm going to think about some things that I can hear. I'm going to think about some things that I can touch. And I'm going to think about some ways it makes me feel. Now, why are we doing this? Because in your story you are going to have to describe your setting, and these ideas are really going to help you when you come to do some descriptive writing about your setting. So, for example, I can hear kids playing. I can hear the waves crashing. I can hear adults talking. And I can hear some adults yelling. I can hear the wind on a flag as it goes whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Wind on a flag or a kite. There's some things I can hear. Okay. Things I can see. Probably water. Probably sand. Maybe a few plants. Maybe I can see the reflection of the sun. Maybe it's sunrise or a sunset. Maybe I can see some birds. Maybe I see people. Maybe I see a surfer. Now, when we come to describe our setting, I might not use all of these, but these are just ideas so that I'm not having to think about it too hard then. I already have generated the ideas. It's then about taking the ideas, putting them into sentences. Okay, what can I touch? Okay, well, I'm going to put here sand and sand, and I'm going to put warm, hot, and possibly even cool sand. If you think about it, if the sun's been on the sand, maybe it's quite hot on top. You can brush some of that away, and then underneath it's warm. And if you brush that away, maybe it's cool. Maybe it's, you can feel it being damp where the water's coming through. Maybe I can touch the water and it's wet. Maybe it's cold water. Maybe I can touch my towel that I'm lying on. Maybe I can touch the book that I'm reading. Now, the final one, how do you feel? Well, maybe it's making you feel calm, relaxed. Maybe sometimes I like to just gaze out of the ocean and drift off. I'll put that there, drift off. Just in my own thoughts. Almost a bit like meditation. Maybe for some parents, they can get a little tense. If I see my kiddos going in some big waves, I know that I'm ready. I'm watching them in case they get into trouble. In case a big wave comes and swamps them or tries to pull them out. So that can be a little tense or nerve-wracking. Maybe I'll write that here. Nerve-wracking as a parent. Maybe I feel content. Maybe I don't like the beach. Maybe you feel irritated by the sand that's got inside your shirt or down your shorts or wherever and it's rubbing you. I don't know. So these are things that you can decide on your feel. So you can see straight away, I'll cover up the trail and I'll cover up the car, but you can see all that information, and that took a couple of minutes. So I'd like you to choose 2 or 3 of those and really work on what you can touch, what you can see, what you can hear, what you can feel. And the final one, which I totally forgot, I'm going to put that down here, is what you can smell. And on the beach, I can smell, sometimes I smell sweet things being cooked, being sold. Sometimes you can smell you can smell salt. Salt water. Sometimes that can be a bit stinky. Stinky seaweed that's been drying in the sun. Maybe suntan lotion. Often smell that, especially if you're downwind of someone and they go shh and they spray it. You can do that. I don't know. Sometimes you might smell a barbecue. So, really thinking about those things that bring a place to life for you. And a really good way to do that is just to close your eyes and have a think. What can I smell when I'm in this place? What can I hear? Now, obviously, some of you, and I know what some of you are saying, Mr. Geen, I've never been to a different planet. Oh, I've never been to outer space. No, you haven't, and neither have I. So if you're going to make up a planet, well, it's made up, so you can close your eyes and imagine it. If you've been to outer space, trying to think about what that might be like. Okay, and this is still go through the senses for each one and have a think. These are harder, obviously, because we've got no experience, but really going through the senses for each place. So choose 2 or 3 of them, spend about half an hour, brainstorm all of the different settings that you might want to write about first, and then think about the senses for each one. Okay? Keep this safe. Keep it with your problem sheet. Keep them together, because these are what we're going to be using when we just come to write. Okay, go for it.